Live. It is a little after 7 on this Friday, May 16th, 2025. I hope you guys are well. We've had more than our share of severe weather today. Moderate risk issued by the Storm Prediction Center, and so far it has lived up to it. In fact, heavy damage reports coming in from St. Louis, Missouri. You can see the thunderstorms from the infrared perspective as they move through earlier. I'm going to take off the convective outlook. You can see those tall thunderstorm clouds tops. This is the satellite. It moved through St. Louis about 2 hours ago. Now we're watching those storms as they continue to progress off to the east. I've got my producer with me over here, and she's going to show you what that looked like as it was making its way through the St. Louis area just a little while earlier. During this update, we're going to talk about what has been and, more importantly, where these storms are going. This is a time lapse from the downtown. Look at that. Downtown St. Louis with that supercell thunderstorm bringing sheets of rain. And within that, there was a tornado touchdown. Again, just a little while earlier. We'll come back to some of these images. Take you on over to current radar right now, Radar Omega. Thank you for being on, by the way. Tracking potentially tornadic storms through 4 states right now. We have active tornado warnings that are in effect for parts of Illinois, Missouri, Indiana, and Kentucky. I'm particularly concerned with the supercell to the west of Bloomington, Indiana. Bloomington, expect a warning for you very, very soon. We'll take a look at that with our GR analyst radar. That's the level 2 radar, highest resolution that you will find. Also additional tornado warning storms to the west into portions of Illinois, to the south of Madisonville, north of Hopkinsville. Big, potentially tornado-producing thunderstorm. Going across to the south of Nortonville, near Crofton. Tornado warnings are in effect there. We'll investigate all of these storms in time. Thank you for being on. Let's go back over to our Twitter feed. We've got some images from earlier. Okay, and then this is a tornado. It looks like it's pretty close to real time here. So just a couple of moments ago, Linton, Indiana. Can you bring up that image? Can you make it larger? Okay, we'll come back to that. Tornadoes touching down across portions of Indiana right now, it looks like. I'll check my feed in a moment. I just want to make sure that we're getting on top of the real-time information for you. So we're going to start you off with analyst radar coming out of Evansville. I'll check my feed in a moment. Sorry about that. I just want to make sure that we're getting on top of the real-time information for you. So we're going to start audio issue. We need another person back here. So I need my producer, of course. Anybody up for a low-paying tech job? Very low-paying, though. But you know what? We love what we do around here, so that's all that matters. All right, so here's a look at that analyst radar showing reflectivity on the left. We've got storm relative velocity on the right. We were taking a radar sample out of Evansville, where we have tornadic supercells right now. Multiple. As mentioned, I was particularly concerned about the cell for Bloomington. They're going to issue a severe thunderstorm warning on that. That's good. So let's get the latest information on that warning for you. Severe thunderstorm warning out of Indianapolis. This is for Monroe County. And this is for western Brown, southern Owen, northeastern Greene County. So a severe, which is good. But you can see that rotation to the west of Bloomington. I'm going to stay on this feed until that storm passes safely through Bloomington, okay? Right now, they're not warning for a tornado. They're warning for hail and wind. Hail to quarter size, wind 60+ miles per hour. All right, but that's not the only storm in town. And again, that's a pretty nasty looking supercell. Before I go south, I want to look at that a little bit more. I'm going to look closely at that velocity on the right-hand panel there. Kind of see how the wind is moving towards and away from the radar site. We've got good broad rotation, but this sample, it's up there, about 6,500 feet. So they've got reason to believe it's not on the ground at the moment, but it has been on the ground. It was producing tornadoes to the north of Bloomfield. It was producing tornado reports out there towards Linton, where we know we just saw a picture of that, by the way, when we were looking at the Twitter feed from our producer. Okay, so that is a storm of interest. Indianapolis, you are seeing severe thunderstorms move through you right now. Again, reflectivity on the left, we've got velocity on the right. And then to the west of there, we've got severe thunderstorm warnings and now new tornado warnings into Illinois. To the west of Terre Haute, they are putting both severe thunderstorm and tornado warnings on these. That's a tornado warning for Oliver, Illinois, Marshall, Illinois, Clark Center, Illinois. Tornado warning for Hazel, Dell, Hidalgo, and Rose. Put this activity into motion here. And if you're watching from YouTube right now, I want to thank you for being on. We got a new... okay, so our producer over here has got new damage to share with you guys. Let's go over to that. On a Twitter feed out of the St. Louis area. North St. Louis, did we get a name of the town? Like Sykeston, maybe? Something like that. Ooh, that's a bad day. A lot of insurance claims. Look at that. Yeah, heavy tree damage, foliage all over the place. Check that out. There's a look at, this is a time lapse earlier. Nope, that's a still frame with the arch in the foreground. Very cool looking picture there. Thank you. Again, St. Louis getting hit by an apparent tornado north side of town. Still bringing in information on that as we speak. So that's always good. All right, I'm going to bring up the chat. I'll start monitoring that. If you happen to be following us on YouTube, thank you for being on. And let's go back over to our live radar. Looking at this moderate risk day, by the way. Thunderstorms blowing up all across the Wabash River Valley, the lower Ohio River Valley right now. We're taking a look at analyst radar currently. Out of Evansville. We've got storms to the north near Indianapolis. We've got storms to the south. I want to look at that storm down towards Hopkinsville. It's going to be north of Hopkinsville, but let's go to the Hopkinsville radar. Take a look at that. That is a big boy supercell thunderstorm. I mean, big boy. As in, like corn-fed. Okay? The storm feeding on Wheaties and lots of beef. All right, big supercell thunderstorm. It's going to pass just to the north of Hopkinsville. Dangerous looking storm, but looking at the wind profiles, it's not terribly threatening. I'm actually encouraged by this. You know, from a kind of a broader perspective, you would think it would be possibly doing more as far as rotation. It's not doing a ton, actually. This is great news for Hopkinsville, for Crofton, for Nortonville. It's just that it's not that threatening of a storm, at least at this time, according to the wind profiles. So there is a tornado warning, so we don't want to take it too lightly. Put that into motion for you there. The tornado warning does include town of North Hopkinsville. Tornado warning for central Christian County, southern Caldwell County, northeastern Trigg, and northwestern Todd counties. That goes until 7 p.m. For a thunderstorm capable of producing a tornado, was located near Cobb, near Cadiz, moving east at 55 miles per hour. All right, let's take a look at the other radar unit. Get that frontal boundary. Going to make its way through the region, west to east. All the thunderstorms are kind of firing up right along that boundary. See that big low pressure to the north, spinning up there near Minneapolis. Above us, though, we do have a lot of jet stream wind energy above us, and that's really helping to create lift in the atmosphere. It's helping those thunderstorms to really take off. In addition, we've got a lot of heat. A lot of humidity to deal with. There's that risk area where we're particularly concerned with the red. That's that moderate risk area, which is pretty rare, actually, for the Storm Prediction Center to issue that moderate risk of severe weather. It's within there that we have thunderstorms ongoing, several warnings. And again, all this is going to be progressing off to the east here as we go throughout the evening hours. Right now, it's about 20 minutes after 7. Take a look at some of the graphics that we have prepared for you today. That tornado risk is something that, again, we don't want to ignore whatsoever at all. Moderate risk of severe weather for large hail, 3 inches plus in diameter, to winds that could reach 75 miles per hour. And for the possibility of strong tornadoes, that's EF3. And potentially long track. So EF3 tornadoes are possible. Long track tornadoes are possible. Let's take a look at some of the parameters that are coming together. And we'll be in contact with our producer if new information comes in. And just as a reminder, by the way, if you are not sure what your plan is tonight, in case a tornado warning is issued near you, just some things to keep in mind. From worst to best options when it comes to seeking shelter during a tornado or high wind event in general. Mobile homes, vehicles, worst place you can stay. Underneath highway overpasses is a bad idea. Large open rooms like gymnasiums, no good. Manufactured homes, no good. A good place to be would be an interior room of a well-constructed home or building. And, of course, the best place you can be is a basement. Or a storm shelter. I always recommend that stairwell underneath the stairs in the basement, underneath that stairwell. It's the safest place in most homes. Homes that, of course, do have a basement. All right, with that being said, let's take a look at some of these ingredients that are coming together here. Got that moderate risk, which is, again, fairly rare occurrence. Storm Prediction Center does not issue those on the reg. All right, here's a look at some of the ingredients coming together. We get these high-speed jet stream winds above us, which oftentimes in May you don't really have that. Oftentimes in May, the winds above us will be the limiting factor. The winds here, somewhere in the order of about 80 to 90 knots for the most part. Very strong winds above us for this time of the year. And that's going to combine with high levels of heat and humidity. And when kind of a metric that we use that does incorporate the humidity, it incorporates surface temperature as well as temperature profiles throughout the atmosphere, is called CAPE, convective available potential energy. Essentially, it is a measure of instability. Instability is essentially fuel for thunderstorms. The more instability or CAPE you have, the stronger the thunderstorms can become. The latest models showing these instability values rising over the next hour to somewhere between 3,000 and 4,000 units for southern Indiana and north central Kentucky. These are very, very high values. And that, in conjunction with the winds aloft, are some of the ingredients that have us concerned that these storms are going to be capable of all modes of hazards. Severe hail, wind, and tornadoes. Okay, so let's get to the latest. Try to time this out for you. I'm going to go to the very latest run of the HRRR. This is the 22Z run. So this is the run coming in right now, this hour. And showing the activity where we're at right now, looking at thunderstorms developing along that Kentucky Parkway. Within the next hour, those could quickly become severe. Again, we've already got the severe thunderstorms now as they're making their way into the Wabash River Valley, south towards Hopkinsville, north towards Indianapolis. So a little bit of a weakness along the Ohio River. So the storms may be north and south of you in Louisville. Over the next couple of hours, you could get flanked north and south. Could be a miss for Louisville, at least in the short term. With thunderstorms likely developing, but the big ones north and south. As we approach 8 o'clock, here's 9 o'clock hour. Thunderstorms continue to race across southern portions of Indiana. 9 o'clock hour, Cincinnati, you get hit with thunderstorms into Lexington as well. Storms continue along and north of the Kentucky parkways before shifting south here late tonight. I'm going to stop this. This is 11 o'clock. This is midnight. So the storms kind of organize themselves in a quasi-linear squall line that could be capable of producing damaging straight line winds, some hail, and also the possibility of spin up tornadoes overnight. This is midnight. This is 1 o'clock. This is 2 in the morning. And then they begin to kind of fizzle. Still healthy thunderstorms, but they won't be severe by morning. So that's what we're looking at. Do we have any new information?
There's a picture from the arch that was less than 2 hours ago.
Okay, new picture coming in on the Twitter feed. And this is also from St. Louis?
Yes, from the arch itself.
It's kind of a scary picture. You see that caption there, from the western windows of the Gateway Arch. Cool. Very neat. All right, one final check of radar, and then we'll bring this update down for a close, and we'll continue to monitor. Okay, thank you for that. Okay, there's one last look at Radar Omega. They are going to increase that wording. And we may have a problem down here in southern Illinois. Let's take a look. Okay, they've got a radar observed. They've got a tornado emergency. Tornado emergency for southeastern Williamson in southern Saline counties. So it looks like we're going to stick with this. Tornado emergency was just issued by the National Weather Service. Southern Illinois. Let's get the information up. Tornado emergency. I'm going to bring that music down. Well, tornado emergency has been issued for southeastern Williamson, southern Saline counties. This includes, this goes until 7 p.m. Central Time. At 6:23 p.m., so about 5 minutes ago, it's Central Time, a large and destructive tornado was observed near Hudkins or near Creel Springs, moving east at 60 miles per hour. This is a PDS, a particularly dangerous situation. So large on the ground, doing damage. And see if we can't get that location there near Creel Springs. That's where it's at right now. We'll look underneath that. Look at the, there it is, correlation coefficient showing a very clear and very distinct, what we call TDS. It's a tornadic debris signature. TDS, it's confirmation that the tornado is on the ground via radar. So where is this going? Carrier Mills, you're next in line. And that looks like that's going to be along State Highway 45. State Highway 45, Carrier Mills to Ledford. You guys are in line. You need to be underground right now. Underground. Stone Fort, also along US 45. Harrisburg. So, putting this into motion. Real bad situation developing down there again for southern Illinois. Tornado emergency has been issued. Looking at the larger picture, showing all these thunderstorms developing out in advance of an approaching cold front, and surging levels of humidity at the surface. Also, high-speed winds above us and the jet stream winds helping to aid in the development of strong to severe thunderstorms as expected. And now we are seeing again these thunderstorms with rotation, and now the one observed tornado that has prompted the National Weather Service to issue the tornado emergency. Let me get this information over to my Twitter feed as I'm speaking. And we'll take you back over to Twitter. No, we don't have new information? Okay. And here's a look at the Omega radar while we do this. It shows all the warnings. That's the thunderstorm warnings in orange. It's the tornado warnings in red. And the purple and black warning, that's the tornado emergency. All right. Wish we had a picture down there. All right. Tornado emergency in effect for Southern Illinois. Let's get those county names back up for you. This is going to be for southeastern Williamson County, southern Saline County, and southern Illinois. That goes until 7 p.m. They're calling this a PDS, a particularly dangerous situation. Trying to get this information out in real time. It's the reason why we are pausing with what we're saying here. That's never good. Houses being leveled.
It's down Bloomington and Clear Creek, Indiana.
Okay, into where?
Bloomington and Clear Creek, Indiana.
Okay, so the other supercell we were watching, that was Bloomington. Okay, so really bad situation developing down here to the south. Hopefully we get some positive reports that the storm has lifted or something. I don't really know. So let me know what you find We are looking at specifically the two counties, Williamson, and what was the other one?
Bloomington and Clear Creek.
Okay. Okay, so Saline County and Williamson County. Saline and Williamson. Okay. All right. Let's go back to live radar. Okay. Sorry about that interruption in the feed there. And let's head back to Bloomington. See what we've got. So this will be coming out of the radar out of Indianapolis. Ooh. Ooh, I don't like the looks of that. That you see that little ball down here near Clear Creek? Maybe you can't see it from where you're at. You can see, people at home can see it. That looks like a debris ball. Oof. That's what it looks like. Let's see if it's actually doing it. Place marker, see if it's CC. Yeah, it's not clear. But yeah, potential tornado here south of Bloomington. So that supercell that would be producing the tornado on top of Bloomington, but the circulation passing just to your south. It's not clear if that's going to make the ground or not. We'll continue to watch that as it moves downwind. Moving generally towards Nashville, Indiana, so Brown County. Okay, so that's that supercell. We've got just general thunderstorms, Brandenburg to Irvington, approaching the Louisville area. That's actually going to help decrease your severe risk this evening if you live in Louisville and you're listening to this feed. Because the rain will lower the temperature and help to actually decrease that threat. We head to the south. We've got the tornado warned storm near Hopkinsville. I'd like to investigate that one more time. And then we'll go back to the tornado emergency occurring in southern Illinois. So the storm in Hopkinsville, honestly, is not looking, it's not looking too good. Looks like it may be struggling a little bit. I'm not seeing a tight rotation, although there is the tornado warning associated with that. Okay, so that storm not looking great. The tornado warning does continue. That goes... you see here, tornado warning remains in effect until 7 p.m. Central Time. And that remains in effect for Christian and northeastern Todd counties. This is a radar indicated tornado. All right, let's go out of Paducah and take a look at the tornado emergency that remains in effect. And, you know, we're getting some pretty good radar data here. So I always prefer to speak to good data versus to bad. It makes it easier for me to decipher what I'm saying and to be more clear with my messaging if the radar is clear. Now, with that being said, A tornado emergency is usually reserved for really, really bad situations. And so the fact that we have a tornado emergency says, hey, we need to be very careful. Now, with that being said, I think the storm is losing its characteristic. I think it's losing its supercellular characteristic. It's still a supercell, but it's losing the velocity signature that you would attribute to a tornado that's on the ground. So let me adjust. I've got storm relative velocity on the right. I've got reflectivity on the left. We've got a new, brand new image in here. And I'm going to put a marker on it. I'm going to see if we can find any evidence and it's really not clear. Honestly, it may be on the ground. It's possible. If it is, it's a rope-like structure. This is not a large, well-organized tornado. This would be a rope, enough to do damage, enough to continue with the messaging. Tornado emergency. So seek shelter in Carrier Mills in Ludford. This is moving towards Mitchellsville. Okay. There is a storm behind it also producing both severe thunderstorm warnings, and that's a severe thunderstorm warning for it. To the south near Benton, that is a Benton, Missouri, that is a tornado warning. It's a small one. And then to the south of Poplar Bluff, that's also a tornado warning. And now we are getting a plethora of tornado warnings to the north of, in between Louisville and Indianapolis. Let's see what's happening. I'm going to take Louisville radar out of this one. Tornado warning for Seymour for North Vernon. All right, new warning issued. Again, Seymour to North Vernon. Let's get the information on that. All right, so a tornado warning in effect for southeastern Jackson County and also in Jennings County that goes until 8:15. This is a radar indicated tornado, so nothing confirmed. I'm not showing anything that's overwhelmingly concerning, so we're going to leave that storm alone, at least for now. But take your shelter though if you live in Hayden, North Vernon. Love it. And then we do have the tornado warning that's in effect near Bloomington. Now this one, it's pulsed up, it's pulsed down. It's looking more threatening on the most recent frame. Yeah, looking much more threatening on the last frame here. See if I can't pull that from Indianapolis. Okay, so a tornado warning remains in effect for central Monroe County. A confirmed large and extremely dangerous tornado was located near Bloomington, moving east at 45 miles per hour. So the tornado, let's go back. Go forward. I'm gonna pull up some of the earlier frames here. So, are we seeing anything out of Bloomington? Was Bloomington hit? I'm not seeing anything either. That would
Still St. Louis.
yeah, I'm not seeing anything that confirms that Bloomington was hit. Let's do a search. And if you guys are hearing anything at home or seeing anything at home, let me know. Devin, you're welcome. Thank you for being on. That's interesting. Where's that image from? Do you see that? Okay, that's it. That is Bloomington. All right, we are seeing pictures of a tornado out of Bloomington. That should be your column all the way on the left. Okay, as soon as that image becomes available, we'll show that to you. But it does look like that there was a tornado, maybe a rope tornado that touched down near Bloomington, out of Bloomington.
Got it.
Refresh your browser. Third column. Okay, we should have that image coming up. All right, tornado on the ground in Bloomington. So we are getting images. This thing did touch down Bloomington. Did you refresh? I'm sharing some of these images right now on social media. Okay, we got that image coming up for you. Here we go. Yeah. Yeah, that looks like got a little bit of a stovepipe. May even have a horizontal vortice with that. Do you have some more images in that feed? All right, let's go back to radar. Sorry, my allergies are they've been kicking lately. Sign of the times, right? Who else is suffering with me, right? I know I'm not alone. Look at this thunderstorm as it's recycling. All right, we're going back over to our producer's feed. All right, what do we got? Nope, we don't. Okay. So I'm gonna hang on this just a little bit longer here. But tornado warned storm that moved through Bloomington may be cycling as it moves off to the east, south of Nashville right now. Warnings all over the place. There is a tornado warning for Columbus, Indiana. Tornado warning for North Vernon, although that one does not appear to be doing the deed. Severe thunderstorm warning issued for Louisville, Kentucky. And then we're going to check back in with our tornado emergency. We're going to check out of the Evansville radar this time. Okay, there we go. These appear to be, a lot of these appear to be quick hitting tornadoes. I know they're touching down, but at least we're not looking at these ones that are staying on the ground and knocking out community after community. At least that has not been the case so far tonight. So hopefully that will continue to be the case. Okay, so that's Mitchell's. So we are in far southeastern Illinois with this particular storm. It's going to move towards Morganton. If it holds together, that's Evansville, that's Henderson. Big supercell, much like the one down that moved to the north of Hopkinsville. Big supercell, at times producing, yeah, but we haven't seen the long track that we were afraid that some of these may be capable of producing. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and bring this one down for a close as we continue to monitor the situation. If it gets more ramped up, or if the situation becomes more serious, we'll come back on here and we'll continue to monitor the situation. Again, you can find additional on the blog. That's capelweather.com. Also, for most up-to-date information, follow me on YouTube, maybe where you're following this, or on my Twitter feed as well. You'll also find me at Weather Live Media on Facebook. Thanks for being here. We'll continue to monitor the situation. Stay aware.